the third thing that may be keeping you single is your career.
And that's something because we looked at, tried to start the Ayala episode. I ended up falling asleep. That's okay. We're gonna finish it. But that what drew us to it is it was talking about women who were so career driven
Yeah.
that they put off their own personal lives,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're wondering, okay, well, why is it that I cannot get into a successful relationship?
Yeah.
And I have a career as well, so I don't want to make it seem like you can't have a career and a relationship. I don't think it has to be either
It's
or.
putting it over.
But when you prioritize the career
Mm-hmm.
over your personal life, that's when it can become problematic.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about people who have put their personal lives on the back burner
Mm-hmm.
because they're just trying to climb the corporate ladder, which
Yeah.
takes a lot of
Yeah.
time, which, you have to get certain schooling for a lot of the positions.
Yeah.
So, the time that you put into that, and by time you're done with your day, it's like you're wiped out. You don't have time for anything else
Mm-hmm.
for yourself, or because like I said, you can be in a relationship and have a career. Case in
Yeah.
point, like I graduated with my undergrad, then got married that same year after I got my bachelor's, and
Crazy.
then
Huh?
I
Who you get
was
married to?
this handsome man sitting across from me.
Who that is?
He sounds like, "Mwah." but yes, got my master's while still being married, pursue
Yeah.
some other things in my career
Mm-hmm.
while still being married. It's possible, but you have to make sure that you maintain a balance.
Yeah.
I have heard some testimonies of some people who are, in their 40s, and people can still get married. They can still have children in their 40s, but I've heard some people talk about how they kind of wish that maybe, or they thought that things would have kind of played out differently in their lives, to where they would have been
Mm-hmm.
married sooner or maybe had children sooner, even though it's still possible. So if you are 40 or over, I mean, we're still seeing people still getting blessed, meeting their spouses, still having children even then. So please do not be dismayed or give up hope, like, oh goodness, it's not going to happen for me, because it still can. But just hearing certain people talking about how they envisioned it rolling out differently
Yeah. Yeah.
and happening
Exactly.
sooner. So
Even one of the things that you may not even realize, but like, or you may realize, and that's probably why you may not even be courting anybody or in a relationship with anybody, is because they saw when they were in a relationship with you how much you put
the
your
career
career or
before.
even your job. You don't even have to have a career necessarily, but even your job, you put that
Mm,
before them. And honestly, nobody wants to go into a covenant relationship with somebody who prioritizes things like that before them, because they're like, okay, like where am I gonna fit in? Are you gonna pin me in, or are you gonna pencil me in?
yeah,
There's a difference between being pinned in and penciled in, because when you pencil in somebody, you can easily just erase
erase.
them.
Yeah.
But when you pin that mug in, unless you come with some
I was
whiteout,
about to say the
that
whiteout.
mug is there to stay. That's why we never
Yeah.
practice writing in pen. We hate man. Anyways,
Really?
so we hate it writing in pen. But my whole point is, if you don't make space in your life for them before marriage, they're not going to be eager to, jump the broom and get married to you, because they see where your priorities lie.
Priority. That's why it keeps coming
Exactly.
back to those priorities,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? And something else that I think is important to kind of push pause on and reflect upon is, making sure that your career isn't becoming like a little God to
Mm.
you, to where you're putting that before. We've heard our
Yeah. Say
pastor talk
that.
about
Say
that
that.
before even church or God himself,
Yeah.
because it's like, I got to do this, I got to do that. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for personal devotion. I don't have time for Bible study. I don't have time for Sunday worship, because it's this, and that. And so anytime that's the case, and if also assessing to see, is this really complementing my purpose?
Yeah.
It's a blessing when you can serve in a career
Yeah.
that goes hand in hand with your purpose. Like, I have a heart and a passion for educating
Right.
others.
Right.
And so when your career can line up with what that purpose is, it's a true blessing. But if it's something that is not in alignment to where God has put you here, or not going to be a vessel or a there's another word I'm seeking for, but I can't find it, a means of getting you to that purpose, then that may be something that you want to reassess as well. So that's when it can
Yes.
become a problem, just when you're putting it up there on a pedestal, and like you said, you don't have time for friends, you don't have time for a relationship, because relationships take time. You have to spend quality time together
Yeah.
on a regular basis, because when you get out of touch with each other, then that relationship can start to drift apart. So you have to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
your spouse, or even when you start courting, the person who you're in a relationship feels valued,
Right.
and it has to be a priority. So yeah, and that's what we talked about. I mean, what we heard on a little bit of piece that I saw on Ayanla before I
Mm-hmm.
fell asleep.
Before you fell asleep.
Them just talking about some of the regrets.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, your career, um, as wonderful as it may be,
Mm-hmm.
a job will come and go.
We'll
A
come and go.
career you're gonna eventually retire from
Yeah. Or quit.
or quit.
Yeah.
Or you can even have it to where you invest so much time and effort, and what keeps the company or the organization from saying, you know what,
Yeah.
we don't need you.
Or we don't need you. Or that could have been the little window you had to have to build a life with that person. And now that window's closed because you put your career, your job, and everything else before them.